Hello and welcome. You're watching 5 Live. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. From Jammu and Kashmir to Delhi, from Uttarakhand to Punjab, relentless rains have brought North India to its knees. This is the region's worst monsoon in decades. Hillsides have collapsed into rivers of mud. Plains have transformed into inland lakes, and lives, homes, livelihoods all have been swept away. So on the program today, we are keeping the focus on what exactly is unfolding. Pictures on your screens are about the devastation that has taken place across North India. Some 30 people have died, more than 3,54,000 affected. This is the worst flood situation that the place has seen since 1988. Why is the youth logging into AI? Well, the latest report that has been done on a study done in India now points out that it's the dependence of young teens towards AI is becoming greater than we think. 54% young Indians between 13 to 30 depend on AI for emotional support now. All right, so those are the two big stories that we are tracking here on 5 Live today. But what else is making news across the country? Let's quickly show you that. At least 30 people have died, more than 3,54,000 affected by heavy rains and floods in Punjab. The food basket of India is now facing what's been called the worst flood of the state since 1988. The land of 5 rivers now becomes the land of the floods. Yamuna River continues to swell. Several areas inundated. Over 10,000 people shifted to relief camps. Water continuously being released from the Hatnikund barrage in Haryana. Today evening, tomorrow morning, we could be seeing a major impact. GST Council meet currently underway in New Delhi to discuss the GST reforms. This could impact your and my life greatly. Sources say the new GST rates come into effect from 5th of September, offering consumers what could perhaps be a relief in our daily essentials. Talking about daily essentials, where ordering food online has become costlier after Swiggy raised its platform fee to 14 rupees. Zomato now hikes it to 12 ahead of the festive season and the Asia Cup, aiming to boost profitability. And then the big story we are tracking, OpenAI is introducing parental control after a California couple lawsuit accused the company of guiding their 16-year-old son to die by suicide. Meanwhile, the first of its kind survey in India reveals how 54% of young Indians are relying on AI for emotional comfort. At least 30 people have died. More than 3,54,000 have been affected. All of 23 districts in Punjab are flood hit. Over 1,400 villages submerged and around 3 lakh acres of farmland is now underwater. Some 20,000 people have been evacuated from low-lying areas, with hundreds of relief camps giving shelter. The food basket of India is now facing what's been called the worst flood of the state since 1988. Land of 5 rivers has now become the land of floods. Schools and colleges in Punjab to remain shut now till September. And while North India is reeling under relentless rain, it's Punjab, of course, all of it that has faced the worst flood of all times. Now, the state has also witnessed several major floods over the decades, causing widespread damage to life, to agriculture, infrastructure. But floods in Punjab have brought back the horrific memories of 1988. Our colleagues from across India Today and Aaj Tak are across these flood-impacted areas, the worst of its kinds. They are spread across Mohali, in Firozpur, in Kapurthala as well. Let's take a look at all those reports one by one. But let's quickly open up the map first of Punjab to understand how exactly this pans out. Let's take a look at this first report now. This one coming in from my colleague Kavaljeet. Kavaljeet from Mohali. Take a look.
Water everywhere. This is Punjab's Mohali. This is where this has been completely inundated. We are in phase 11. Then there you see difficult to ply and wade through the waters, but the vehicles now making it, creating a wave of sense. And this is where livelihood is being impacted at this point of time. Clearly, look at this. A car being towed away, especially from waters right here. Difficult moments for people.
ये रिलीफ कैंप से आए हैं। 10 दिन हो गए कहते कि रिलीफ कैंप में थे और अब अपने घर के हालात देखने जा रहे हैं। और ये बिना मोटर के, आप देखिए बोट है, इससे 2.5 से 3 घंटे लगते हैं इनके गांव, जो टिंडी वाला गांव है, वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए। और ये हालात हैं फिरोजपुर के गांव गट्टी राजो के जो है। और यहाँ पर अभी भी 18 से 20 गांव हैं जिनका कनेक्शन कटा हुआ है और आवाजाही का एकमात्र सहारा है ये बोट। रिलीफ कैंप है अभी, लेकिन घर की चिंता रिलीफ कैंप में रहने नहीं देती।
आप इस तस्वीर को देखकर अंदाजा लगाइए कि क्या ये कोई गांव है, अंदाजा आप लगा सकते हैं, या फिर ये एक दरिया है, एक टापू है जो टापू में तब्दील हो चुका है। बाढ़ ने ऐसा कहर बरपाया है। ये ब्यास दरिया है, ब्यास दरिया का कहर यहाँ पर बरपाया। हमने आपको दिखाया था कि रावी में किस तरीके से कहर बरपाया था। 2 गांव, डेरा बाबा नानक का पूरा इलाका, गुरदासपुर वाला, और अगर अमृतसर की बात करें तो अजनाला का इलाका, वहां भी बिल्कुल ऐसी तस्वीर थी। लेकिन अब यहां पर ये तस्वीर ब्यास दरिया जहां पर हम लोग मौजूद हैं इस वक्त, और गांव 12 से 14 जो कि पूरी तरह से इफेक्ट हुए हैं।
Those are not lakes where you see our reporters, where they are joining us from. These are reports from highways, from roads, from inside colonies and areas which were once where people were walking on road. But this is the situation as we speak. A lot of relief effort has come in. A lot of help is also trickling in. So let's try and understand what exactly is the need of the hour and how can you and I actually help Punjab sort of wade through this, one of the worst floods that they are seeing in decades. Joining us now is Randeep Hooda, actor and an activist in a way, if I can call him that as well. Randeep, hi, and thank you so much for being with us. I've been looking at videos of you wading through the water, trying to get first-hand understanding of how exactly the flood has devastated lives across Punjab. Take us through where you are exactly today, और आज क्या-क्या देखा आपने वहाँ पर?
Well, we are in Gurdaspur district. Here, at a lot of places, the water has come down, and some places still hold water. In fact, the water had come down and it's come back again in today. So it is a continuous thing that's going on. The people's houses have been, devastated. People are feeling very emotionally alone, as well as, the way they show the damage to you is heartbreaking. And I am here to help on ground, to create more awareness, and to help with Global Sikhs, which I've been associated for the last 10 years with Amarpreet Singh, who's the initiator, founder of that. And when you're sitting in your houses elsewhere, away from Punjab, you feel what can you do to help these places or help these people who have been devastated. Their animals have been lost. Their livelihoods, everything has gone down the drain or has been washed away with the water of the floods. So, there is a three-prong approach that Global Six is taking. First is rescue, then is relief, and then is rehabilitation. So I'm in the areas where the water has gone down, the teams on the ground are assessing the situation and trying to see what are the most essential things to get people's lives back on track. There is a lot of help, no doubt, and there is a lot of help needed. I am more concerned about when these flood waters are gone and this attention from the floods is
Yes.
gone. That's when the real work is going to start to rehabilitate and clean and find people's livelihoods again. Global Sikhs has today, we have started distributing buffaloes with newborn calves so that, they can their milk economy, the rural animal economy can get back on track. So little things are being done. Slush is being cleared. And a lot of things are going on. I'm very grateful that I've been able to be a part of it through Global Six.
Yeah, Randeep, this must have been a very humbling experience for you, away from the coziness of a set where everything is taken care of and perhaps lines are written, realities are reflected upon, but not truly in the way you're seeing it today, unfold in front of your eyes. क्या चल रहा है आपके जहन में, क्या चल रहा है आपके दिमाग में when you see devastation of this kind?
Well, it is very heartbreaking to see this. And, this is all resultant from excess rain and probably some water mismanagement in the dams and the climate change, and climate change, as it has been said so many times, it will affect the poorest of the poor. So people who are affected here, a lot of them are labor class people, a lot of them are small farmers who are now, they're sitting there holding their heads as to how will life continue after this, because everything is gone. I mean, there is so much, damage that has been done to their lives, which is probably unfathomable sitting over in your drawing rooms. But the effort is to bring this to light and to get more people to share the pain. Not necessarily like I try to come on ground, but that's not possible for everybody. But
Yeah.
everybody can participate in it.
Yes.
And I think these ground level organizations who are doing all this real work, you can tie in with them, you can help through them, you can help with them. So there are possibilities of more things to come, and if we all get together, there is we can conquer it, we can overcome
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's the spirit, Randeep. I'm very glad you brought it up as well. Not everybody can land up there, but a lot of us can actually contribute and help. And one organization actually doing that is Global Sikhs. Amarpreet Singh, who's the founder for Global Sikhs, is also with us now. Amar, just take us through what is it that's required, number one, in the relief camps right now. If people are watching this right now, can help you, can send, whatever means they have, सबसे ज़्यादा requirement किस चीज़ की हो रही है?
सो राइट नाउ सबसे ज़्यादा रिक्वायरमेंट है जो वो कोऑर्डिनेशन की है, बिकॉज राइट नाउ पंजाब में एड की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, वो पंजाब में जो पंजाबियत है वो पूरे के पूरे गांव जो सेफ जोन में बैठे हैं वो अभी भी अपने अपने गांव से रिलीफ इकट्ठा करके लेके आ रहे हैं, लेकिन सिचुएशन ऐसे वर्स्ट होती जा रही है क्योंकि असेसमेंट पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत है। सो हमारी टीम में जहाँ जहाँ पानी की पानी का लेवल बिल्कुल डाउन जाता जा रहा है, तो हमारी कोशिश है कि वहाँ पे रिहैबिलिटेशन एएसएपी स्टार्ट करी जाए। तो इसी वजह से हमने गुरदासपुर एरिया से, जहाँ से पानी अभी बिल्कुल निकल चुका है, कुछ कुछ गाँव में भी पानी बचा है, तो जो गाँव में पानी निकल चुका है वहाँ पे हमने रिहैबिलिटेशन, चाहे उनको कैटल्स हैं, चाहे उनका लाइफ स्टॉक जो भी पानी में बहा है, सो वो सारा कुछ हमारा काम है जो प्रेजेंटली वो चल रहा है। और फर्नीचर के ऊपर काम चल रहा है, जिनका फर्नीचर डैमेज है, जिनके घर डैमेज हैं। सो मतलब लाइक सभी तरीके से हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सपोर्ट करने के लिए ग्राउंड जीरो पे है। और मोस्टली फाजिल्का एरिया इस टाइम पानी में बिल्कुल डूबा हुआ है, कुछ गांव उसके 10-10 फुट पानी है। सो उस गांव में हमारे रेस्क्यू टीम तकरीबन 4 बोट लेके, मोटर बोट्स लेके वहाँ पे इमरजेंसी रिलीफ एंड रेस्क्यू का काम कर रहे हैं।
ये जो पंजाबियत की बात करी ना आपने अमरप्रीत, मैं उसके बारे में थोड़ा रणदीप से भी बात करना चाहती हूँ। रणदीप, सबने ये स्टोरी देखी, सबके दिल को ये छुई, सबका मन करा कि हम कुछ करें, यहाँ पर जाके हेल्प करें। बट व्हाट फोर्स्ड यू टू एक्चुअली से दैट नो, लेट मी गो देयर एंड सी इट फर्स्ट हैंड, लेट मी सी व्हाट माई प्रेजेंस ऑन ग्राउंड कैन एक्चुअली ब्रिंग अबाउट, द हेल्प अवेयरनेस दैट इट कैन ब्रिंग अबाउट? क्या सोचा आपने, क्यों लगा आपको जाना ही चाहिए?
देखिए, मैं अमरप्रीत के संजोग से काफी बार उनके साथ जुड़ के, उनकी एड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ जुड़ के ये सब कर चुका हूँ। तो माय फर्स्ट थिंग ऑलवेज इज कि इफ आई गो ऑन ग्राउंड, will that inspire more people? And like Amarpreet said, that it's the Punjabiyat, your people are very helpful here, they're helping each other, but the help is not it's not well directed unless you have good assessment of what is actually
Correct.
needed, and not over supply something which is in abundance, and yet go for things which are not, like for example Amarpreet and Global Sikhs. They've been yesterday. We distributed solar lights in villages where there is no electricity. So there is a lot of thought that goes into it. Then we checking out furniture and everything. So the assessment, a more organized way of going about it is what is needed now. And everybody is here to help. Villages are helping other villages. Human beings are helping human beings. But there also has to be a sort of more organized direction towards what exactly is needed at the moment, and it keeps changing moment to moment to moment from
Correct.
situation to situation. I think that's why somebody who's really organized like Amarpreet and his great volunteers, which I have the to do some seva with in
Right.
Global Six. They have really are working and assessing and changing uh, um, their their modus operandi every hour. You know?
And I'm getting to hear that even communication is a big problem, because in a lot of these areas, the cell network is not working. To even reach out to understand with teams on ground, coordination is becoming a massive issue as well. But first up, I have to say salute to both of you for the work that you're doing. Big thank you, and lots of blessings coming your way for all the work that you guys have done. And I'm sure I understand a lot more still needs to be done. We don't know if this is the worst that we have seen just yet. We don't know if the worst of the floods in Punjab and other parts of northern India is behind us or not. We don't know if in the coming days there will be more rainfall. So a lot of uncertainty as we continue to tackle this crisis that has unfolded all across, and in Punjab
I
perhaps,
think the
where
gratitude. I think the gratitude should go to the volunteers who are actually working day in day out in adverse situations and putting themselves on the line. And I think that's where the pat on the back should be. And Amarpreet and Global Six are doing great work. And I'm very
yeah.
fortunate to be here with
Yeah.
them.
Amarpreet, I'm hearing a lot of places your volunteers, your team has reached where even some of the government people could not, connectivity could not. Take us through exactly what are you seeing on the ground? Worst impacted areas अभी कौन से हैं, हमें दिखाइए.
देखिए सबसे अफेक्टेड एरिया जैसे मैंने बताया कि राइट नाउ इमरजेंसी फेज है, जो वो फेज यही है कि जहाँ पे पानी का लेवल बहुत अप है और जहाँ पे रेस्क्यू का काम चल रहा है। सो राइट नाउ फाजिल्का एरिया इज ऑन द टॉप लिस्ट, जहाँ पे फिरोजपुर एरिया इज ऑन द टॉप लिस्ट, जहाँ पे पानी का लेवल बहुत अप है और 8-10 फीट में किश्ती चल रही है और मोटर बोट्स के थ्रू रेस्क्यू किया जा रहा है, इमरजेंसी रिलीफ पहुंचाया जा रहा है। जिन्होंने 4-4 दिन से खाना नहीं खाया उनको खाना दिया जा रहा है। सो सभी जगह की जो ग्राउंड रियलिटी है वो डिफरेंट है। अमृतसर में डिफरेंट सिचुएशन चल रही है, गुरदासपुर में डिफरेंट है, डेरा बाबा नानक में डिफरेंट है। सो हमारी इस टाइम तकरीबन ग्राउंड के, अगर मैं पॉइंट्स की बात करूं तो तकरीबन 350 मतलब 350 वॉलंटियर्स ग्राउंड जीरो पे काम कर रहे हैं और तकरीबन 10 से 12 लोकेशंस हम डेली की ऑपरेट करते हैं, जहाँ पे हमारी असेसमेंट टीम्स, रिलीफ टीम्स, रेस्क्यू टीम्स काम कर रहे हैं। और हमारी कोशिश है कि हम इन टीम्स के थ्रू और इतने डेडिकेटेड वॉलंटियर्स के थ्रू हम ये इतना बड़ा डिजास्टर को रिलीफ पहुंचा पाए। हमारी बस इतनी सी कोशिश है जो वो हम अपना इस योगदान डाल पा रहे हैं इस कम्युनिटी के लिए।
अमरजीत, कब तक के सप्लाईज है आपके पास और किस तरह की हेल्प आप चाह रहे हैं? जो व्यूअर्स इस समय आपको देख रहे हैं, सुन पा रहे हैं, उनको आप क्या कहेंगे, कैसे हेल्प कर लें?
देखिए मैं सभी जगह यही अपील कर रहा हूँ कि जो भी हेल्प अगर पहुँचाने का किसी का जब हम वीडियोस देखते हैं बहुत इमोशनल होते हैं और बहुत चाहते हैं कि यार यहाँ पे इंसानियत की तरफ से हमें ज़रूरत है कि हम यहाँ पे काम करें। और हमने अपनी सभी लिस्ट और एक रिक्वायरमेंट लिस्ट डे टू डे अपडेट कर रहे हैं। जैसे हमने जब इमरजेंसी थी, रेस्क्यू था, तब हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स डिफरेंट थी। अब हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट्स डिफरेंट हैं। तो हम 2 दिन का गैप लेके, 3 दिन का गैप लेके जैसे हमें रिक्वायरमेंट है वो हम अपने सोशल प्लेटफॉर्म्स के ऊपर लॉन्च करते हैं कि अब अगर आपने सामान देना है, इन काइंड डोनेशंस करनी है, क्योंकि हमारा प्राइमरी फोकस इज ऑन द इन काइंड डोनेशंस, नॉट ऑन द कैश डोनेशंस। सो हमारा
राइट।
फोकस है कि हमें सामान पहुँचाइए, हमें अगर किश्ती की ज़रूरत है, हमें किश्ती दीजिए, अगर हमें कोई ट्रैक्टर की ज़रूरत है, हमें ट्रैक्टर दीजिए। हमें पैसा नहीं, हमें इन काइंड सामान चाहिए जिसकी
जी।
इमीडिएट मदद से हम लोगों की हेल्प कर सकें।
Right. Randeep, I want to come to you now. Amongst how many days have you spent? Tell us a little bit about how you are staying. Where are you staying? Do you guys travel back and forth? Is there enough to ensure that where the team is, they're being looked after?
Uh, well, I've been here for a couple of days, and I've been staying in Gurdaspur with a friend of mine called Maninder Singh, who's also been a big part of my journey with aid and with Amarpreet for over the 10 years. So I've been staying there. So we go back and forth from there. And Gurdaspur, it's in Gurdaspur, so it doesn't take us much time. 20 minutes here, 20 minutes that way, this way, we're able to manage it. So that's how we've been doing it. The volunteers are obviously they're most of the time they're wet and and they're continuously working. So they're also finding places to rest. Today, I visited the storehouse which they had built. A wedding venue has been converted into a storehouse for global Sikhs. So like this, with the local help and of course foresight by Amarpreet and his team, everybody has been there has been a lot of good coordination that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Randeep, with your appeal, with your platform, with the following that you have, what is it that you wish for people to know, both about Punjab right now and the Punjabiyat right now?
What I want them to know that the spirit of Punjab is something which is undefeatable, and but we always think that. So we all also think that they don't need help. They do need help, as Amarpreet pointed out, in kind, and it keeps changing from point one to point 10 in a day. And so my appeal is for people to come forth to help in kind and whichever way they can, and come and join forces with Global Six and other organizations that are working on ground, in spirit, in the word for humanity, to come as human beings and be of help and aid. And Punjab is very strong, but oftentimes the strong child does not get the support that that strong child also needs. So we need to keep our vigil and our support going on for Punjab.
Yeah. Randeep, you've also been there for a couple of days. Help us understand what is the kind of government aid that is reaching, if at all. What has been your understanding of what kind of help is coming from the government?
Well, I've been here for a couple of days, and I do not want to get into the politics of it, but I have not seen much of government aid that has come through, especially to these far-flung, isolated areas, these border areas. I haven't seen much of it, but I'm sure that that might not be the case. So I'm no one to comment on that. But definitely, a lot more can be done.
Right. I also saw a lot of celebrities pouring in their support online, asking for people to contribute, to help, etc. How much of an impact do you think celebrities coming together and offering to speak about it actually provides?
I think it just gives news and other avenues of communication. When a celebrity comes in, it's carried more and sometimes can have a vast effect, or more wider effect. Because celebrities come in because of their own following and then inspiring other celebrities or normal people. I mean, we are all human beings and we are all in it together. So it does help, but lip service and just posting is not enough. I think a lot more can
Yes.
be done. I'm not judging anybody. Everybody is trying to do what they can in their capacity. But as Amarpreet pointed out, that there will be lists that will be put out that people can supply kind, because if it's a financial supply, those have to be sourced, and more and manpower goes into that, and then the shipping and all that. So looking at these requirements and supplying in kind as soon as you can, that's great. Every contribution matters. There is no big and small in it. We are all humans and we're doing the best we can.
Randeep Hooda, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing, and good luck for the days ahead. Keep sending us all the videos that you have been. Give us a sense of what's actually happening on the ground. It helps us really get an understanding of what's unfolding. Let me also give the last word to Amanpreet very quickly, if we still have an. Amanpreet, आपकी सारी डिटेल सोशल मीडिया पर हैं, पर इस समय मैंने जो सवाल रणदीप से पूछा, मैं आपसे भी वही जानना चाहती हूँ कि क्या सरकार की हेल्प पहुँच नहीं पा रही है, पहुँची नहीं है, आप लोगों के साथ कोलैबोरेट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, क्या स्थिति है?
जैसे कि हमारे कुछ बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स हम प्लान कर रहे हैं, पाइपलाइन में है, चाहे वो जहाँ-जहाँ से जो रिवर बैंक्स ब्रीच हुए हैं, वहाँ से काम करने की जो हमारा प्लान चल रहा है, तो वहाँ से हमें गवर्नमेंट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की तरफ से हम सपोर्ट ले रहे हैं, क्योंकि उसमें टेक्निकलिटी इन्वॉल्व्ड है, उनका डिपार्टमेंट्स इन्वॉल्व्ड है। तो जो रिलीफ वर्क में गवर्नमेंट के अपने ऑपरेशंस अपने लेवल पे चल रहे हैं, लेकिन हमारा प्राइमरी फोकस ये रहता है, बिकॉज़ वी आर नॉन पॉलिटिकल एंड नॉन गवर्नमेंटल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। सो हमारा कोशिश ये रहता है कि ग्राउंड ज़ीरो पे जो रिसोर्सेज हमारे पास हैं, जितना हम मैन पावर के थ्रू अपना रेस्क्यू, रिलीफ एंड एड डिलीवरी का काम कर सकते हैं, तो हम उसी को ही ऑलवेज प्राइमरी फोकस रख के इनिशिएट करते हैं।
जी। और अमनप्रीत, अभी किस तरह की ज़रूरत आपको लग रही है? मैंने जैसे आपसे पहले जानने की कोशिश करी, जो आपने देखा होगा, आई एम श्योर you've been doing this for so long, since I have known you at least, even before the pandemic, when your organization under a different head used to be working with people. How is this flood compared to anything else that you have ever done in terms of aid and rescue ops?
यहाँ पे लाइक सिचुएशन इज़ लाइक कि एरिया बहुत ज़्यादा, अगर इसके मैं रेडियस की बात करूँ कि फ्रॉम गुरदासपुर टू अमृतसर, फ्रॉम डेरा बाबा नानक टू रामदास एरिया, एंड फ्रॉम अजनाला टू फाजिल्का। सो इसका जो रेडियस बढ़ता जा रहा है, हमारे लिए भी कहीं कुछ लेवल पे आके इतना चैलेंज हो जाता है कि राइट नाउ वी हैव 8 मोटर बोट्स रेस्क्यू के लिए। तो उसकी कोऑर्डिनेशन है, उसको एक-एक जगह पे पहुँचाना और उसको रेस्क्यू टीम्स को उस तरीके से ऑपरेट करना, इट्स अ वेरी चैलेंजिंग जॉब। लेकिन सैल्यूट टू आवर टीम, आवर वॉलंटियर्स जो ग्राउंड ज़ीरो पे। और मैं यहाँ पे एक चीज़ और बात बताऊँगा, एवरीवन आस्क अस कि अमरप्रीत, आपका ये जो स्टाफ है, मैंने कहा नहीं, ये स्टाफ नहीं है, ये अपनी-अपनी जॉब छोड़ के और अपना-अपना काम छोड़ के, अपनी पढ़ाई छोड़ के कुछ दिनों के लिए हमारे साथ वॉलंटियर करते हैं। ये मैन पावर है, इसमें पैशन है, इसमें डेडिकेशन है गिव बैक करने के लिए, कि हम इंसानियत के लिए, हम लोगों के लिए खड़े हैं, चाहे अपना उनका लीव लेके आ रहे हैं, जहाँ से भी आ रहे हैं। सो इस डेडिकेशन के साथ सैल्यूट सारा हमारी टीम को जाता है, हमारे वॉलंटियर्स को जाता है, जो दिन रात इसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं।
Amarpreet, salute to you, to every volunteer who's there, to every person who's dedicating their time, their money, or even doing the slightest bit that they can in terms of offering any kind of help. So I would urge everybody watching also right now, please go on to their social media handles, figure out what is it that they need, and if you can, please let's do our bit to ensure that the food bowl of India, the land of the 5 rivers of India, and perhaps the place which is known for its spirit, for its Punjabiyat, gets back on its feet very, very quickly. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for doing what you do. All right, so that was Punjab, but like we said, the issue is not about that individual state alone. Heavy downpour has thrown normal life out of gear at Jammu and Kashmir as well. Let's take a look at a ground report that is coming by colleague Neeraj from Aknoor.
लगातार जम्मू में जो बारिश हो रही है, उससे चेनाब दरिया का जो जल स्तर है वो बढ़ चुका है, और अब चेनाब दरिया ने अपना जो रुख है वो मोड़ लिया है। चेनाब दरिया का पानी जो है वो अब गढ़खाल एरिया में धीरे धीरे घुस रहा है। आप देख सकते हैं, ये जो आप पानी देख रहे हैं, ये कोई चेनाब दरिया नहीं है, ये एक किसान का खेत है। फसलें पूरी तरीके से तबाह हो चुकी हैं। बीएसएफ, अभी आप देख सकते हैं, जो बीएसएफ के जवान हैं वो बिल्कुल अलर्ट मोड पर हैं। बताया जा रहा है कि यहाँ से आगे 30 से 40 लोग जो हैं वो फंसे हुए हैं, उन्हीं को निकालने की तैयारी की जा रही है।
And even Srinagar is battling heavy downpour. My colleague Mir Farid is on the ground. Let's take a look at his report as well.
मेहताब इलाका है, वहां पे खड़ा हूं और बिल्कुल दूध गंगा नाले के पास। दूध गंगा का जो नाला है, ये लेवल जो है पानी की जो सतह है, ये इससे पहले आज से 11 साल पहले देखी गई थी, जब 2014 में जो विनाशकारी सैलाब आया था, फ्लड आया था और पूरा श्रीनगर जो है पानी में था। उसके बाद आज ये लेवल देखी गई है और बिल्कुल अगर आप जो एम्बैंकमेंट है उसकी बात करें तो उसी सतह पे पानी बह रहा है और बहुत तेजी से आगे बढ़ के जहलम में मिल रहा है।
We looked at Punjab, we looked at Jammu, we looked at Kashmir. Let's come down towards Haryana now, which is also bearing the brunt of heavy downpour. My colleague Anmol Bali is getting us this report from Yamuna Nagar.
से लेके दिल्ली समय जल संकट यानी पानी का प्रलय देख रहा है। इस समय मैं यमुना नगर के हथनी कुंड बैराज पे हूं और आपको मैं अपने पीछे तस्वीरों में दिखाना चाहूंगा कि आप देख सकते हैं कि कैसे इस समय जो यमुना विराट और विकराल रूप ले चुकी है, क्योंकि पीछे से देखा जा रहा है पहाड़ों में भारी बारिश है और जो पहाड़ों का पानी है यमुना के जरिए राष्ट्रीय राजधानी दिल्ली पहुंच गया है, जहां बाढ़ जैसी स्थिति पैदा हो गई है।
All right, let's also take a look at what's happening in Himachal Pradesh meanwhile, which has been devastated by relentless monsoon rains since June, and heavy downpour has led to widespread destruction there. Several key highways there are damaged. Houses have been swept away. Manali is said to be the worst hit. My colleague Asim Bassi gets us this report.
नाजुक बना दिए हैं। आप देखें कि लगातार बारिश हो रही है और ब्यास किस तरह उफान पर है। हम बिल्कुल ब्यास के ऊपर जो एक ब्रिज बना है वहाँ पर हैं और मैं आपको बता दूं कि यहाँ पर पानी बहुत कम था, लेकिन अब दोबारा जो है, क्योंकि 48 घंटे से जो बारिश हो रही है उसकी वजह से जो पानी है वो बढ़ गया है, लगातार इसका स्तर बढ़ रहा है और आसपास के जो घर हैं, दुकानें हैं, उनको खतरा बना हुआ है। और इस तरफ एक इंटरेस्टिंग एक बड़ी तस्वीर है, क्योंकि आप देख सकते हैं कि पानी की मार कितनी है।
All right, let's shift our focus to here in the national capital, where again we've seen relentless rainfall. More is expected in the days to come as well. Yamuna River has crossed the danger mark. Disaster management teams have been deployed. This is what's happening. My colleague Shreya reporting next.
Is a Yamuna which has already gone way above the danger mark. It's flowing above 207 is what we're also understanding, and just in the morning we were also here. We could very well walk near the barricades that you see, but now the water level has reached the cement bags over here, and that's a really grim situation. On the other hand, you can see the ring road at ISBT. There is water logging, and usually the water from the rain that drains into the Yamuna, that is unable to drain, and that is the reason you see stagnant water logging here at the ISBT as well.
And perhaps the worst hit areas right now in the Delhi NCR region is Yamuna Vihar. My colleague Sneha has been reporting from there.
Everybody has abandoned their homes. The residents of the Yamuna Bazaar area are not at home at this point in time. They've been forced to leave their homes. These are proper houses that have been built at the banks of the river. This, of course, is an encroachment which the authorities say should have not been there to begin with. But just to give you an overview of the situation at this point in time, in the 2023 floods, the water level had actually breached this wall. The water had gone past this wall. People here are saying that they are thinking that this would happen this time again as well. It looks pretty bad is what they've said, because the monsoons haven't abated, the rains continue, and rains will continue. With this, the water level will come up even further and perhaps breach this wall's mark, which was seen the last time around in 2023 when there was so much devastation.
Two chilling stories out of United States are forcing us to now confront a disturbing truth. AI can become more than just a tool for teens. It has become a dangerous emotional trap. In California, 16-year-old Adam began using ChatGPT for homework, but soon he was confiding loneliness and suicidal thoughts. His parents have now filed a wrongful death lawsuit calling chatbot a suicide coach. They allege it helped draft suicide notes, analyze a photograph of a noose, and even wrote back lines, right? You don't owe anyone survival. Adam died by suicide on the 11th of April. In Florida, A 14-year-old reportedly fell into an emotional, even romantic bond with a character AI bot, posing as Daenerys Targaryen. His mother's lawsuit now claims that when he expressed suicidal thoughts, the bot actually encouraged him. Please do, my sweet king, quote unquote. He too died by suicide. Two tragedies, both showing how vulnerable teens can slip into unhealthy, even fatal sort of dependencies on AI when safeguards are missing, which they are clearly. And now, India's own wake-up call. A first of its kind YouthKiAwaaz and YLAC survey reveals just how many young Indians are already leaning on AI for comfort. The figures are quite staggering. We've pulled up the highlights for you. 88% of school students say they use AI, mostly ChatGPT, when stressed or anxious. Now, who are these people who were looked into? They looked at young adults all the way from 13 to 35-year-olds. And guess how many of them depend on sources like ChatGPT or even AI when they are feeling lonely? 57% of them turn to AI when they feel lonely or need advice. 40% admit they share things with AI they would never tell a human. So 57% of young people that the survey spoke to between 13 to 35 said that they rely on AI for emotional support, out of which 40% said that we tell AI things that we would never tell a human. And then there is the age-wise breakup as well, which is even more worrying. There were three subsets here: teens from 13 to 18, then young adults from 19 to 25, and then adults, of course, from 26 to 30. The maximum emotional support required was by teens. The numbers will pop on your screen right now, but eventually it's said that the younger you are, the more likely you are to rely on AI for emotional support. Also, when it becomes most dangerous, remember. But it's not just the age factor that caught our eye. What really baffled me was the location divide. If you thought urban youth would be more tech savvy, depending on AI more, perhaps, look at this statistic. Urban youth, 40% of them use AI for productivity. But when it came to rural youth, their maximum usage of AI, which was 42%, went in on emotional support. More rural than urban, remember. So the contrast is stark. In the US, 2 lives lost to unsafe AI entanglements, and in India, a whole generation already turning to AI for comfort. The message is clear. Without thoughtful design, awareness, and healthy alternatives, comfort can tip into dependence and dependence into crisis. So how exactly are we to tackle this? Let me open it up to the two people who actually did this entire survey. Joining us next is Aparajita Bharti. She's the co-founder of YLAC. It's the Young Leaders for Active Leadership, and also Anshul Tiwari, founder for YouthKiAwaaz. Thank you both for joining us. Very timely survey, I would say, that you guys have done. But the news of the day as we speak about it is that news reports have come that Sam Altman has made a statement, and he has now said that parental controls will be introduced. Let me give the first word to Bharti to try and understand, given everything that we know now from the survey that you guys have done, will this make a difference?
Thanks, Sonal, and thanks for covering this report. I think it is timely, but we didn't time it to coincide with all the news that is coming around, what the most harmful impacts of emotional dependence on AI could be. I think parental controls is something that social media companies have also introduced, and they can be effective provided parents know about it. I think one of the big things that tech companies have struggled with is that usually young people are obviously more conversant with technology, and they are faster to adopt technology, and older people are often lagging behind. However, that being said, I think with AI, probably the adoption is actually pretty mass. It is happening across age groups. Yes, young people will obviously be ahead, but given that AI is embedded in our WhatsApp, AI is embedded in search, AI is everything. So anybody who's online is now exposed to AI. Parental controls can really give a lot of, I think, power and information to parents in terms of usage patterns of children, provided they switch them on. So I think it's a good start. It will not be enough. I think there is a lot of other safety by design features that need to be introduced in AI tools to make them um, safe, not just for young people, but also for adults. Because one thing we do want to point out, we are not seeing this in India right now, but in some other countries, already AI tools are being used to help elderly to cope up with loneliness, etc. So very soon we will actually already start seeing some of these impacts there as well. And it will be interesting whether the trends are similar or not.
Yeah, but let's go back to the trends a little bit after having covered that sort of update here. Anshul, I don't know where to begin. I'm very worried, very, very worried. If almost 60% of young people are going to depend on AI for emotional support, 40% of them will say that I'd rather talk to a machine than talk to a human. This is a whole societal system crumbling. And I'm not sure, just playing the devil's advocate there, I'm not sure if AI is to be blamed alone for this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned it. And I must also mention that, this is a critical dipstick. It is a small study, but it's a critical study. We particularly spent time analyzing it from multiple lenses because we wanted to make sure that this becomes the kind of flag that we need at the right time. Now, as far as the point that you raised is concerned, you are absolutely right. The biggest question that, in my opinion, that it raises is really on society as a whole. Where are teens really finding avenues and spaces to speak up and to really express themselves, to have outlets? Where are the spaces that need to exist, maybe in educational institutions, in families? Very often we've seen that, teenagers who are actually using AI tools to make confessions or to, find deeper resonance are doing it almost immediately after maybe they've had a fight with their parent or with a friend and so on and so forth. So it almost seems like in many cases, for many people, it might just be replacing therapy. In fact, one of the conversations that both, Aprajita and I did experience with a teenager was where we were told that, ChatGPT or the AI bot that I'm using is better than the therapist that I have. So, we've seen this happen quite a bit in conversations. And even now, there are many stories that people wrote, about this on our platform after the survey came out and during the survey, where people have in very, great detail told us about the kind of conversations that they've had with ChatGPT and other tools. So, I mean, it's not just ChatGPT, it's, all AI tools. Having said that, I do want to point to one thing, which is that the report also does talk about the fact that users themselves identify this as a problem. So it's definitely an issue. Teenagers are also recognizing that this is causing social isolation in their life. But it's
But
almost
hold
like
on, these are teenagers who have seen a world outside AI, and perhaps why they know it. I'm worried about a generation which will grow with AI and think of it as a new norm.
And we already have that. We already have a generation that is growing up with AI and is seeing it as a norm. And even though, behaviors of older teens might change, we ourselves are quite concerned about younger teens, for whom this is how the internet is. This is how the shape and the makeup of the internet and social media really looks like today. And like Aprajita already mentioned, these are tools that are available everywhere. Any app you open, any place you go to, they're available. They're in all languages. And like you already mentioned, the data about rural versus urban also highlights the fact that it's not something that's just an urban phenomenon. It's definitely set to grow quite a bit, and we need to make the right guardrails to ensure that schools, parents, and various other organizations that work with children are adequately equipped to handle these situations well enough.
No, but I want to go back to the point and Prajita, come in on this one. We keep saying that people are going to AI and not going to the parents. for me, I think the problem is that why are they not going to the parents? Why has ChatGPT or AI become the go-to? So there is some conversation, there is some trust that is perhaps broken, which has to be fixed. Because, as a parent, I'm thinking, even I'm new to this. Even I'm new to ChatGPT taking over our lives. I don't know. Parenthood doesn't come with a manual. None of us know how to sort of handle this with our kids as well. So what are we supposed to do in this scenario? Just go back and say, okay, no phones, no internet, nothing before you turn 13.
I think, Sonam, you can't do that now, even if you want to. So I think we have to think of other ways. I think you're absolutely right. I think when we even look at what this data is telling us, more girls are using AI for emotional reliance than boys, and also in smaller cities. Now, if you look at what is common between young people in smaller cities and girls, is often that they are more at they live with the fear of being judged, and they feel that they don't have avenues to go and discuss things that may be troubling them. You have to understand that between 13 to 18, people are thinking about their identity. They have many questions about their sexuality. They are forming new relationships, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. So obviously it is much easier to go to a tool which is not going to judge you.
But
And
why?
therefore,
That's what I'm trying to understand. Why? Isn't that the problem? Why is it? And that's what we keep making AI a demon and one responsible for everything wrong going on in our lives right now. But I don't think that really fixes any problem. What we really need to fix is, why is it that girls are not having support groups of their own? Why isn't it that parents have that relationship with their kids that they're able to talk freely? Why is it that we've become so occupied in our lives that we are perhaps missing out on cues, not being able to understand these lighter cues that kids often sort of just project and don't say? Isn't that the issue?
absolutely, that is the issue, Sonam. But I do want to say that not all blame also lies on family structures and society structures. I think we also have to think about technology not just as a neutral, thing that happens to us. A lot of design features also have to be taken into account, because you have to understand that if AI talks to you in a way that it always makes you feel good about yourself, you're more likely to turn to a tool rather than a human.
Anshul, for any parent watching right now, being as worried, irritated, agitated as I am, and as I'm sure all of you are as well, who know perhaps so much more than what this report has projected, know a lot more testimonies, what is it that we need to do now? Because I'm sick and tired of waiting for government to sort of get in some guardrails. They'll always stay behind tech. There is no way any policy can come in which will sort of prepare us better or do something which is ahead of the curve, right? That's not going to happen. So what do we do as parents?
I think, there is a simple solution that we need to start implementing almost immediately, which is have more open, non-judgmental conversations with our children. I mean, I have no experience in parenting. I'm not a parent myself. But, having seen a lot of teenagers and a lot of young people who are a part of our community who took this survey, who were a part of, consultations that we've attended, the one thing that we've heard from them over and over again is that I wish I could say this to my to my father or to my mother, but I cannot. So I think, I mean, if there is a parent listening to this and if they're worried about it, banning social media, banning access to AI, banning access to phones may, definitely not solve this. What could potentially solve this is having more open conversations and making them feel that if there is something that is breaking down in their life, then they have a confidant in their parents. They have a confidant in their siblings and in the family structure that they're supported by, and that's a bigger, larger cultural, social question that we also need to ask and answer about how much agency are we as families willing to afford to children who are growing up in a world that is so rapidly changing that honestly you cannot control the flow of information that is coming to them every single day. So I think it's a much larger question that we need to answer, but the beginning of it is through these open, more neutral, more accepting dialogues with children.
Yeah, and am I right in understanding that Aparajita and Anshul, both of you are of the opinion that banning does not help? These massive movements that are going on in the US of screen-free childhood, no cell phones, no internet before 13, 16. Countries now, Australia, so many others have now banned use. They are not allowing schools to sort of let kids come in inside with a phone. Do we have any data? Can you compare it for us perhaps and say if it's working, not working?
So, Sonam, I think, banning definitely is not an option for India. In India, social media is also linked to social mobility of young people and what kind of world that are they able to access. So, I think, and I don't think any country right now has implemented these bans fully. So, we don't know what the impact of that is. All of these are actually just proposals right now. Even Australia, which has passed a law, has not implemented it. I think what has really worked better is some kind of age appropriate design codes for technology, where basically some guidance is given to tech platforms on how to design their products in a way so that they are age appropriate. And that means that you can do a tiered kind of a thing as well. It is not just teenagers, because teenage is also a very long period of time in a person's life. Between 13 to 18, people change a lot and you can't
Yeah.
club them together. So maybe you need to think of 13 to 15, 15 to 15 and 16, 17 and 18, and give experiences that are tailored towards that.
Right. And perhaps if I can add to it, also in India, the problem is very complex. A lot of households actually have shared devices. So how do you even control? How do you
Yes.
even sort of go down on making those changes? But that's, I'm afraid that's all the time we have on the program today. But thank you both, Anshul and Aparajita, for coming in and sharing all those insights with us. That's all the time we have on 5 Live today. If you have certain suggestions on what you think we should pick up, please do write into us. Our handles will be floating. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to India Today.